Welcome back. Even though this is our first episode, this is the Overworked podcast where we are overworked and underpaid. My name is Avery. I'll be one of the hosts of this show.
And I'm Mitch.
And together we are small content creators. Myself, I have a Twitch channel called Avery. It's twitch.tv/Avery. Mitch has a Twitch channel too called twitch.tv/Twitch and Mitch. We just stream a variety of games. We're variety streamers and also, like, I would say, just chatting streamers. We have a few recordings also on I have a few recordings on my YouTube channel, Avery. Considering this is the first podcast for our Overworked channel, we're going to go into kind of introducing ourselves and what this podcast is. So, Mitch, we'll start off with you introducing just yourself.
Sure.
Just a quick, let's say 30 second to a minute, brief synopsis.
Okay. Well, I'm Mitch. What do we go through from there? I'm 23 years old. I don't know. I don't
do anything.
Don't do anything really.
No, we can kind of I don't know. We don't have to make it so formal. We're both in our, I would have to say, early 20s technically, being 23. I don't want to say mid 20s yet.
Yeah, no.
We both grew up together. We've known each other for coming on 10 years now.
I think so. Yeah.
And we've always been interested in doing content creation. I myself have kind of had a strain of doing it on and off for a while, hopefully more on and consistent more recently. But with life kind of calming down, things getting into a normal pace and a more predictable pace, this is something that we're going to be doing weekly, as well as pushing out some other content wherever we can. We both are Canadian in rural Ontario, so yeah, the whole purpose of this podcast is more lifestyle and comedy, where we want to talk about how, I wouldn't even say just our generation, but just right now in this time in 2021, how the people in general are just overworked, underpaid. Even people who get a high education and pay so much amount of money, they're just you go into crazy amounts of debt and you can't even get a job that's worth it. So as for myself, to put some contrast on it, I'm 23 years old. I have a 3-year-old son and a fiance, and I just bought my first house. And no, that was not by myself. I've had help from my family, my father, and there's no way I'd be able to do it without support and help. In comparison to you, help with you're still at home, you have a girlfriend, and you guys have shopped around and looked at renting places.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. It's not really practical right now. Just because my girlfriend's in school right now, and I'm currently working. We're working
we work at the same place.
Six to whatever time job right now, and
typically 10-hour days.
Yeah. So
10
it's
to
just
11
not practical right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Making a little bit above minimum wage, not super high, but yeah, this is kind of the reality of what most people in the world are going up against. Actually, we're fortunate in the sense of even having a job after this pandemic, during lockdowns, especially what Canada's going through right now with our I would have to say the most strict lockdown we've been through, but also not strict.
So, yeah.
Doug Ford wants to make it strict, but no one else is making it strict. So yeah, this podcast is going to kind of highlight our lives and what we go through on a weekly basis. This is going to be a weekly podcast, but also kind of touching on the good, the bad, the fucking really shit weeks, but then also the really good weeks, and like I said, being a lifestyle podcast, and that's what we want to accentuate. We want to really push the fact that Like, it's not going to be just a gaming podcast like we've done in the past. Like, we want to like touch on like what we enjoy, no doubt, but we also want to be able to go off onto different tangents and like have the ability to talk about other subjects without disappointing like viewers. So we're letting people know that the Overworked podcast is going to be, the reason why it's called Overworked is strictly just like I've said in the beginning, this is the Overworked podcast where we're overworked and underpaid. Yeah. So
I think we kind of came up with it just because we actually had a previous podcast where we had a couple episodes out, and it was very limited to surrounded around games and
we had
pop culture.
Yeah, we had like, the VR one, which was I think 6 episodes or 4 or 6 episodes in, and it became very stale because like the VR podcast was strictly about VR. So you get to a point where you're just like.
So like, I think it was once him and I first started working together. He actually just started working with me about a bit over a month ago. Yeah. And that's when really everything started coming together in the way of we could start like throwing ideas off each other while we're at work.
We also have the same schedule, which makes life much easier, especially like with myself having a 3-year-old. It makes life a lot easier being able to know we're getting done work at the exact same time. We're working a 9 or a 6 to whatever, typically 3, 4, sometimes 5 o'clock day, and knowing that's Monday to Friday, which makes it a lot easier for both of us. So kind of jumping back into this, let's get off of more of the whole introduction, super like formal part of this, and kind of push more into our own lifestyle. So I wanted to like let you guys know what we've been up to for the past like week, kind of what we've been obsessed with. Maybe we're pushing back into the gaming really quickly, but we've been up to GTA 5 RP, so roleplay, on a 5M server. So the server we're on is called High Life. So High Life RP, great server, would recommend. Has over 300 people playing in it at a time, and lots of awesome mods and mechanics. Currently obsessed with it. I've streamed it a few times. I have a video that's going to be coming out shortly on my YouTube channel, Avery. Probably just some funny moments, but my streams are more like you can follow the day-to-day things that we do in that game. What do you like? Because I pushed for I've always wanted to do it, but I could never find a server that was like had the proper mods, and that wasn't just like pay to win, and that wasn't like had actual mods in place. Like there's a lot of servers where it's like you make your characters spawn in cars and you just role play.
Well, I like the difference between the actual game GTA and then the 5M server. So like like you said, it's all pretty much pay to win, but as soon as you hop on this server, you're so limited to like what you can actually do at the very start of it. Like there's not far you can go, and you actually have to grind your earnings out to start a little bit of a life.
Yeah, like in the beginning, you're pretty much dropped in a world where essentially you have $8,000. You start off, you're dropped into the world, you are unemployed, and you have to figure out different ways to get money. Fastest way is probably selling drugs in the game, which that's what we're doing right now. But it comes with a huge risk. Like we just recently sold like we were selling drugs in the game, and this is before we even had a house. We were technically homeless, and we had DEA, so actual cops who are players in the game. Pretty much 3 cop cars came in undercover, like pulled us over and searched us, and like I had like luckily Mitch didn't have anything on him, but I did, and essentially like I got thrown into jail. I got all my product taken away. You actually have to get a lawyer in the game, which is a person, and like you have to create a plea deal if you want a plea deal, or you can just like
it's super in depth.
It goes really
Yeah.
in depth, and it's a lot of fun because I was missing GTA. I was missing a game where it was just like I could drive around and like relax, and like I enjoyed the whole role playing side of things. My character's name is William Hemingway. Mitch's character's name is Duke Hemingway. And my older brother, he's also playing Avery with us too, and his character's name is Tony Hemingway. So in the game, we're already known as like the Hemingway brothers, and like we've created a bit of a name for ourselves when it comes to selling. Like we started selling meth in the game and coke in the game to make a lot of money. Wouldn't advise to do that in real life. Don't. But yeah, what's awesome about it is like you start with nothing and you work your way up. Like there's people that have mansions and they have a ton of money. You don't necessarily know how they make this money, and we're just essentially trying to get up to that point.
Yeah, I think that's what's so like mesmerizing about the game is that there's such a grind to get to the top, and you are consistently seeing people around the map like roll past you in their like Rolls Royce or Lamborghini. So it's like, oh, come on.
And we're stuck with like $6,000 cars. And like we're literally living in a 1-bedroom motel right now.
Yeah. like 5 of us.
Yeah, like literally cramped just so we have a place to like a home base to store our product. But no, it's a really fun game. I love the role playing side of things. Sometimes it can get a little annoying with certain people, but for the most part, it's a lot of fun. And it's like practically free. As long as you have the GTA game, you can technically play free,
which is only like $30. That's not terrible.
If you don't support High Life, the server, so there's like different tiers: bronze, silver, gold, and diamond. Bronze is $10 a month, which means you get priority queue into the server over free to play players. Sometimes if you're playing free to play, you're waiting like. Sometimes it can be 20 minutes, sometimes it can be an hour, sometimes it can be 2.
Yeah.
Just to get in, depending on how many people want in. But if you're paying $10 a month to support this server, which you're supporting essentially someone running this modded server for you, you can get priority queue, which pretty much jumps you in right away, even for the $10 a month tier bronze, which that's what we pay for. So it's a pretty cool. It's a pretty cool experience. Like I've been really enjoying playing it. It's got me off of like I went through a stage of playing like Call of Duty Warzone again and hopping into a lot of battle royale games, which don't get me wrong, those are fun, but
there were a lot of back and forth with a lot of games. Like wouldn't play them all the way through, and then they would just get.
I found like like 2020 and even 2021 right now. I'm not sure if it's COVID, like. Not like pushing out as many games. There's just like nothing to play right now, and that's why this is so like like don't get me wrong, like there was the big reason why I jumped on it and found this like server in 5M was a bunch of Twitch streamers are now starting to play GTA RP, like the role playing. They're on a no pixel server, which is like the most popular for big streamers, but because they're on that, like because I saw that, I've always been interested. I never found a server, so I really did some digging and I found this one on 5M, and I'm really enjoying it. And it kind of brings me back to like 2011 when we first got GTA 5 and we're playing it and grinding it out on Xbox, like the Xbox One. Even I think it was 360 at that time even, but really grinding it out on that, and now it's bringing me back to it's almost like a comfort food, but a game.
Yeah,
you know the GTA 5 is good and you're gonna enjoy it, but it just throws this extra twist where you're like like it brings me back to like this is what a good game is like.
But you can't be like super careless in it anymore. Like it's
no,
like you can't just drive around at like crazy speeds and whatever.
You have to throw your seatbelt on in the game because even if you drive at a decent speed and hit another car, your guy's going out the windshield and you die and you have to wait 10 minutes.
Death is so easy, and that's why and that's what's fun about it is because it's a server of 300 people and everyone follows the rules. Yeah, like everybody follows the rules. You get your odd guy who's an idiot, but like mostly everyone follows the rules, and like they'll drive normally and on GTA. It's just so weird to see.
Yeah, you'll drive normally because there could be a cop around the corner that pulls you over and you get a hefty fine or your vehicle taken away. Like, we have to be careful selling our drugs in the game, making the money we do, because we make pretty good money right now. It wasn't always the case, but we have to be careful where we sell because there could be cops, and next thing you know, we're screwed. So, like, you get pulled over and you lose all your product. Like, when I got taken into jail, I lost over $20,000 worth of product in that game, which was not easy, and I was facing a $38,000 fine. And I did a plea deal, and I was able to get away with like an $8,000 fine and like half the jail time. I think my jail time was like 25 minutes in game, so not so bad, but it could have been 10 times worse.
But they're smart about it because it teaches you, because you're like, I want to play, but I'm waiting 20 minutes or 5 minutes or so to actually get back in the game. Especially when you die, it's like 10 minutes spawn back, and it's just annoying in a way because you're sitting there looking at your screen.
Yeah, you're sitting there looking at your screen for 10 minutes. If EMS, like the ambulance, are actual players, so they can only get to so many people. So sometimes you're just waiting the full 10 minutes. You respawn and you lose like your guns and stuff that are on you.
It's ridiculous, and you work so hard for everything that you have.
Yeah, it's not like $1,000 in that game goes a long way.
Yeah. Anyways, it's an amazing game. Like, I think if you've mentioned to me in the past a bunch of times, but I just was never that eager to like go out and buy the game and start playing it because it just seemed like a headache at the time. But like,
we're so used to investing so much time on Xbox, the GTA that we had there, and we had actual money invested into it from like buying different cars and stuff, and we were so far with our businesses, and then like starting fresh. But like, this is just a whole new take. It's like a whole new game.
Yeah.
So like, that's been a lot of fun and keeping us busy recently, kind of keeping our minds busy. Especially right now, Ontario's in another lockdown, so there's not much we can do. Luckily, like, Mitch and I have no problem doing the podcast together in person, being in person together, and even like his girlfriend and my fiance and stuff all being in the same household because we work together. Yeah. My fiance is a stay-at-home mom with the kiddo, so there's really not that much concern. And hopefully this pandemic stuff this is the last year we have to deal with it, because I'm getting absolutely sick and tired of it. But for more exciting news, like more recently, there's a new Resident Evil game coming out. I think it's May 10th or May 11th for I think it's Resident Evil 8. I am not sure, but that's coming out soon, which I'll be pushing a full like let's play on my Twitch page and also on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. All Avery Ski. You can go find me on Instagram at the Avery Ski, YouTube as Avery Ski, and Twitch as Avery Ski. So you should be able to find it. But I'm going to be pushing a full let's play out on that, and I was even thinking about doing, before it comes out, doing a quick like whole playthrough of Resident Evil 7, but I'm not too sure. There's not much time between. No. Yeah. I think I have like 20 days to push out a full campaign of that, which I don't think I'll have the time for because I'm obsessed with the GTA. So but I will be doing that. I showed Mitch recently some gameplay, the whole like trailer of it, and Mitch hasn't played much of the Resident Evils. I think you played Resident Evil 5 with me, but I know that you were like freaked out even at being in that house, like seeing that chick
chasing you around.
Yeah, like walking after you, and like her massive claws, she has to bend under the doorways and stuff, and you have to figure out ways to get out following the story. Like it just looks so it's gonna be refreshing to have some new games with an actual story and just not another clone of a battle royale.
Exactly.
Like I'm really excited to have a bit of a change, some more variety into when it comes to the gameplay. When it comes to the game industry right now. So that'll be really exciting for what's coming up like recently, but yeah. Essentially, like with this podcast, like I said, we're not going to only talk about like gaming, our anything just like that. Like, we're just talking about anything in general. So if you have anything on your mind, feel free to just like jump in. But
I don't have much, to be honest. It was just been a numb work week for us, I feel like.
Yeah, we actually just had the roughest day today, and we came straight from work to here and got ready. But yeah, this work week has been. We do a job, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm not gonna name our company or anything, but we do a job that's very monotonous. It's pretty much the same thing every day, and grinding out the same thing every day, and you're around the same people that you're not necessarily like being around every day.
It's like a, if I had to explain it without actually explaining it, it's like a basic labor position, but it includes like a lot of math and a lot of thinking and problem solving, and which is fine, but like when your whole day is packed with that kind of stuff, it's just
your just
exhausting.
Head feels like exploding, as well as like you're on your feet, and like it's physical. Like, we're lifting heavy things and doing like physical work all day. It took me nearly 2 weeks for my back to even adjust to the amount of physical lifting that we're doing, and now I feel fine for that. It's just like this week was just killer for like hours, but then also like it was just mentally exhausting. I'm not sure. Well, this week we also got a bout of just snow.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, we went from like that. Canada's stupid that way.
It went from like 15 degrees to, it was like
there were some days
-3 this morning.
22 degrees.
I know.
And then we're down to waking up and there's snow on the ground.
I was so pumped. Like, the first warm day that happened, it was like 2 weeks ago, and I think it hit like almost 25, and I was so pumped. Like, I was like literally like outside every single day. Like, I was like so happy walking out of the house to go to work. I'm like, oh, this is so nice.
It's just nice waking up not being cold.
Yeah.
And being a Canadian, that's like one thing you crave. You crave waking up and being like, oh, I'm not freezing my ass off right now.
I hate winter.
It's one thing I like about this new job that I'm at is, at least we're inside. My last job, I was a field technician for a fiber company, so I'm working outside all day, and I did that all through. The winter, and it sucked. And I don't want to do it again. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind being a field technician. I'm good when it comes to networking and internet stuff, but that is not my future. My future is going to be somewhere dealing with like, one, just business in general, but two, like social media, content creation. Eventually, I think I would want to. I was thinking about this the other day. I actually want to see what steps it would take to be like a writer. Not like, even like, I thought about, well, maybe books. I've always been interested in that, but maybe for like either like do a few short stories, or like writing for a video game. I think that would be cool. Or I would love to do an animated show, almost like a Rick and Morty.
Yeah, if we could figure out how to do that, like, that would be so cool to do.
Like, I love writing. That's one thing I was actually awesome at in high school. I was great. I pretty much got like straight A's when it came to English and creative writing and like storyboard writing. Like, I was good at writing. I don't know, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, I can't really see a future. But we grew up in such a small town. Like, what type of small town is going to be like, go for writing and you'll be able to do script writing and writing for shows? Like,
they were just like, go farm or be
a mechanic. Go farm or be a mechanic, or go into a trade, or be a construction worker. And it's like we were never, like, we're good at doing that stuff. We could do that stuff easily, but we've always liked content. Like, we've always liked putting stuff out there. We've been limited, considering Mitch lives in like a really, like, I live in a city, a small city, and I have fiber to my home, so internet's not really an issue for me. But all his life, you've had nothing but problems with internet. You're on wireless internet. I set up your wireless internet. So there's limitations, there's obstacles you have to kind of overcome when it comes to where we live and what we have to deal with. But for the most part, I think we have a pretty good leg up. We have, like, back here, this is like an office that we're setting up. You can't really see, it's black in there, but we have like a table, and we're gonna be setting up two workstations, two editing bays for us, so we can like edit these right afterwards and get them out to you ASAP. But also some other projects that we may be looking at that are coming down the pipeline. We may be having some more, I wouldn't say financial freedom, but the ability to push towards bigger business opportunities. And that may give us a little more freedom to push out more content, such as like weekly vlogs or even a video every other day. As for myself, I enjoy going on Twitch and live streaming my games and my gameplay. Gaming is a huge part of my life. It always has been. I enjoy it. A lot of people think it sounds childish, but I think a good amount of our generation actually knows that like gaming for a guy or a girl is like it's almost like working out for some people. Like you want to sit down because it's a place where you can kind of escape. You can get excited. It allows you to it's like watching, sometimes like binging a TV show. Instead of binging, you're enjoying a different source of entertainment. So that's been a huge part of my life, and I'm really looking forward to like sharing more of that with other people. I used to do more frequent Twitch streams, and those were going pretty well, but that was at a cost of me staying up until, well, at that point I had a 6-month-old. He wasn't 3, and or 7-month or 8-month, and that was at the cost of me waiting until he goes to bed and me streaming until 3 a.m. in the morning, pounding back 2 Red Bulls a night to be able to get my stream going. And I was doing well. I was picking up followers well. I was getting even subscribers, making some money that paid for more equipment for my stream. But I burnt myself out real quick, and that was my biggest issue. And it's always about finding that happy medium, which we're kind of hoping to find right now.
I think we will.
Like, I know your one limitation you have right now is your PC setup. Like, you have an okay PC. Yeah. It's not enough to really push out heavy end games with a high quality stream. Mm-hmm. You are going to be bottlenecking your PC. So eventually getting him set up with something that's a little more powerful and that can push out more content, and whether you want to do Twitch content or not.
I probably will end up doing it if I had the means to. Like, if I could build my PC up.
A big thing's even your internet. That's like it's another huge obstacle that
It's not that bad anymore. Like, it used to be really bad. It used to be terrible, like to the point where we had to couldn't even play multiplayer games together. But I have not seen an issue in it for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's not terrible.
Even with Elon Musk's Starlink coming out, he's gonna have a few more options for the future. So we definitely have some advantages that some people may not have. Like, we have a whole living room space plus a little kitchen area and an office, and even at some point a secondary office. So we're pretty fortunate for what we have, and on top of that, like I said, I'm fortunate to be in my own home and not paying rent. You're not paying rent, and we both have a decent job right now. The goal would be to eventually push away from the job we're at right now and do stuff like this and our business opportunity that's coming up at some point.
I think, honestly, I think that's where Avery and I are both gonna find some sort of happiness within that too, because it's the
it's still doing it. There you go. I started back up right away.
I think happiness is gonna plays a huge role in that, because you can be as happy as you want when you get home from work, but then as soon as you show up there the next day, it kind of sets this standard every time you walk in every day. I'm gonna have a crappy day. Our business opportunity that's coming up, that's what we're calling it right now. But I think it's going to open up a lot of doors and give us a lot of opportunities to find some sort of happiness within that, and actually love what we're doing, not filling the linings of someone else's pocket.
Oh, it's not even money wise, not feeling sometimes even while I'm at our job right now, or 10-hour job right now, I have days where I'm I am spending 10, 11. even 9, 10, 11 hours every day, 5 days a week, building someone else's dream and setting up someone else's family. And don't get me wrong, like I know I'm working for a paycheck to support my family, but as our generation and like millennials, Gen Z, whatever you are, like you can really understand like we're in a generation where you do all this hard work, even driving to work, like news stations say it. You have a generation where even for some factories, you're required to have some sort of, sometimes factories require these college educations. Like, what the hell? Back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you could get yourself a full-fledged career. You had husbands that just worked, wives stayed at home, being able to buy a house and afford a mortgage, and plus eventually get that RV or that boat they wanted with one income. Now it's not possible without help. Like, I'm lucky enough to buy the house I have with my family selling our family business, and us having like a leg up, and me having financial support and help. And also I had to split the house with my brother. Like, I'm not paying for this house by myself. Me and my brother, I have a full family, but my brother also lives under the same roof. We just duplex the house, so the mortgage is split. Like, that's what you have to do now. Even there's a lot of people our age that when it comes to looking at buying a house, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna look at buying this house because I can rent out like a small granny suite in the basement and have someone help pay my mortgage.
I think that's also a factor that fuels this dream of like starting up a business to the point where we can we don't have to, our kids don't have to go through that kind of shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll give it to my dad. Like, he busted his ass for many, 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 many years, sacrificed a lot, and he gave his kids the position where I didn't have to worry about paying rent $1,600 a month to someone else's mortgage. I'm paying my own mortgage right now, so it doesn't feel like a waste. I have an investment for my own place, so it's a good feeling. I'm in a very fortunate position. I feel bad for a lot of people that can't remotely think about being in that position. It's not easy. Like, it really isn't. Like feel free to leave a comment on this video or whatever platform you're watching this on and give like feedback. Like, if you're in our age, and like I can only imagine the stress, because trust me, I've been through it. The stress of thinking like, all right, I want to look at getting a place, or I want to look at getting my foot into a career, but there's no places hiring, especially with the pandemic that's going on. Like, it's insane. Like, it's insane. Like, the only jobs available are like there's nothing available right now. Like, I'm lucky enough to get this job because I knew you. Yeah. Like, and even then, this job's not glorious. It just pays decent, and there's hours. Like, it's like my last job, I was lucky enough to make 55 hours in 2 weeks. Like, there was one point where I got a $900 paycheck for 2 weeks worth of work with my last job, and I'm like, I'm freaking out because that's not enough to pay my bills, and like I have a puppy and a 3-year-old and a fiance and myself, and I have to figure out how to make all that money work. And let alone our education system doesn't prepare anyone for this. Like, it's people that listen to like certain lifestyle podcasts and how to improve your life, and like actually take focus on like money and investments and passive income, that are going to be able to pass this information down to their kids and try to set them up for the best future they can go for. And like, it's not easy because like there's a lot of people that their parents don't know this stuff, and then they grow up not knowing it, and it's a vicious cycle of people just getting themselves, they become consumers, they become good workers, and that's all they do for their entire life. They don't look at something bigger. Like, I don't mind working, but my biggest thing for me is I want to be able to work towards something that makes me feel accomplished and happy. Like, and doing stuff like this, I love making content like this. I love making videos, and that's very important to me, and it's very I know important to you. So we live in a very strange time.
We do.
Like, very stressful, but also I don't know. There's a silver lining to everything. The pandemic has provided such a niche area on the internet where people are being able to create full-fledged careers making content off of TikTok, off of YouTube, off of Twitch, because there's people just wanting to consume more online and can only go online because that's all they can do right now.
But you think like 30 years from now, ever, like we have an opportunity as the generation that we are, like you can become famous just by posting photos or videos or doing this kind of stuff,
or having big tits and making a TikTok. Like literally.
But like back
no
then,
seriously, there's so many people I come across. My For You page, for some reason the algorithm has it down pat to show me just e-girls and big old mommy milkers. Literally, that's my fiance always jokes around because every time you go on my For You page, it's just yeah. So, but these women, and all to them, they have the assets, go for it. They create full-fledged careers out of it, and it's not, I'm not talking about like OnlyFans or anything. Like they just make videos and they're able to get sponsors, and they have, next thing you know, they have 500,000 followers on Instagram and even more on TikTok, and they don't have to work. They're making money, and it's like, holy shit, like we're in such a generation where, like, at one point when I was Twitch streaming consistently, I was making like an okay amount of money. At one point, I think I got a payout for, it was like $500 US on my PayPal. That paid for some upgrades on my PC. That's what I put it towards. But I had one person send me like some stream equipment like for free, like because they just enjoyed my videos. Like I enjoy doing that stuff, and it's insane that there's so many different avenues. But sorry, I cut you off. You're talking about 30 years from now.
I don't even remember what I was saying. I think I was going towards that direction anyways.
Like, we live in a world where there's so much opportunity, but then like we also live in a world where it's just getting harder and harder to live.
I think it's a race to who has the most motivation or who can make the most time to do certain things.
Honestly,
because like if there's another two guys that are also making a podcast, and let's say like they're hitting like every other week or whatever for their podcast, and we're doing every week, like I feel like we have more of a chance of
you have more of a chance of getting out there. And like I also think I think there's a few main things when it comes to content creation and becoming known. There's number one, and every content creator you ever listen to, like every famous content creator will always say consistency. And that is a huge key role in being a content creator. If you can be consistent, you can get a following, you can get a community, you can get a fan base, and before you know it, you're like, holy shit, I have a group of people that love watching me. Yeah. But that only goes so far. There are some people that have seen been consistent, get a community, they're doing well, and then it tapers off, it plateaus, and then it goes down. Because if you're consistent doing the same thing, but you're not being, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like bringing anything new to the table?
Yeah, you're not bringing anything new to the table. You're not being interesting. You're not trying to change it up. And don't get me wrong, like it's good to be consistent in the genre you're in. If I'm like a gaming streamer known for doing a lot of like specific type of games, and I switch to playing like 2D side scrollers, not a lot of people are going to watch that are of my following base. But you have to learn how to be entertaining and also change it up to be different from all the other people that are out there. So that's what I'm hoping between myself, yourself, and even the people that are around us, my older brother, my fiance, like bringing some originality into it, some different twists on how we make our content. I think that would be interesting. Like, I enjoy making these podcasts because it's kind of, we're fucking screaming out into the void.
Exactly.
And seeing whoever can pick it up and who relates to our how we live and how we do it, how our lifestyle is. Like, you're so used to you getting caught up on the big content creators that all live out in LA and they all live kind of like a content creator lifestyle, but what about the people who live across the border up north here in Canada? Like, you don't see a ton of that. And sometimes when you do, it's like you get a small open window and of what they do. But like, I don't know. I'm really excited for this podcast because like I said, we're overworked and we're underpaid, and that is fine. Like one day it's gonna work out, and all the overworking that we do is gonna pay off. Yeah. Because I want to emphasize, like, overworking yourself isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, that means if you're working, that means you're pushing towards something.
Depends on what your goals are too.
Yeah. If you're overworking yourself for someone else's dreams, you're gonna get nowhere. But if you're overworking yourself to push your own agenda and your own goals, that stands for something. Yeah. So that's kind of one thing that you and I have always.
And we've been itching to like start this up. I think it was. I feel like it was like the first 2 weeks we were there. I think we were kind of held back because we had to like move back into our old studio and clean up and get things all set up. And I think that's.
Yeah, we got this place cleaned up a bit. We still have a lot of work. We have like a bit more of a future we're pushing towards this, but and then obviously myself starting a new job, getting used to the workload, and adjusting to my new environment was took a little bit, but now finally pushing, getting this done. It gives us the idea of like, okay, what's our time frame? What type of what are we looking at for setup for this? What are we looking at for our average day? What is kind of like our weekly idea of what we can do? So it's very interesting on like kind of like figuring all that out and taking the first steps. I always know the first episode of every podcast is super janky. Yeah, I already know. But I already know the beginning of this. So it's probably cringe.
It's more or less an explanation / introduction / yeah, whatever. It's always the first shit episode.
You and I were the same way when we used to have a podcast called Youth Nation Studios. I don't even think those episodes are up. Are they made? I think they're still up on. I don't know. They're still up somewhere, and we got like 12 episodes into that podcast, and we enjoyed doing it. The first one was super cringe, but then like getting a few in, you kind of notice like there was a bit more of a routine.
Just feels normal after that.
Yeah. So we're hoping to be able to not just do like a boring podcast. We're going to be adding things. Even the next one, I'm going to have some more options, obviously, for our like video podcast where people will be able to go on YouTube, and like if we're talking about something specific, you can see what we're pulling up here on the laptop and what we may be watching, adding some monitors so we can put up some videos and some content there, and like be able to go further and show you guys more, and hopefully be a little more entertaining. Just right now, the goal was, we set a deadline today, and we wanted to set an expectation today was Thursday, April 22nd, we want to get a recording done. And then this upcoming Monday, which is April 26th, have a podcast posted on YouTube, on iTunes, on Spotify, and wherever else. Setting expectations, because I think consistency and us setting, like, no matter what, at this time we're getting this out. Like, I don't give a shit if like we're tired from work, because trust me, this was our hardest day out of the week, and there wasn't even a moment where I'm like, well, maybe we should push
it was a bad time to start it, but like I'm glad we pushed through that, because even if it was, I don't know, I wouldn't want to say this was a bad episode, but it wasn't the usual energetic type that we are. So what, at least it's
set a precedent. It's set us being like, okay, we got this one out. Now that this one's now that we have the footage and the recording, we got this one out. We're gonna push for another and another.
But we also
and then like changing up with some originality.
Yeah. We also have a lot more freedom though, because as long like we know we have to post on the Monday, but we also have the entire week to figure stuff out, because our hours are so like you can't really tell when we're gonna end usually.
Yeah.
So
for the most part, we have like setting it like being like, okay, must post on Monday means we have from Tuesday to Sunday to get recording, to get an idea, to get to schedule a date to record, and then to have some time to edit and then post.
Yeah.
Like it gives us some time to be able to actually like come up with some originality to schedule our busy lives. But then 3, also come up with like other projects. Like I have, like I said, the Resident Evil gameplay I want to push out, but I don't want to just push out. I do want to push out a normal Let's Play because I've always liked a normal Let's Play, but at the same time, I want to throw my own original twist on it. I don't want to just be a gamer that sits there and plays a game and people watch. Like, I think that can get kind of boring. I may leave that for my Twitch streams, so if people want to sit back and chat with me while I'm playing the game. But my YouTube videos have always been like funny moments of certain games. I don't want to do I want to try to find a happy medium balance between like a story, so you guys can enjoy the story with me, but then like the comedic side of things, like the funny glitchy moments that happen in video games, because those are always my favorite. So it's trying to find your own way of like style of editing and how you're going to be presenting the video, and hopefully it's something other people enjoy, and seeing what responds well with people and seeing what doesn't. So like between like the podcast on Mondays and then like upcoming projects that I'm working on and that we may be working on, like there's stuff that's going to be coming out, and I really want to push for people, like if you have any suggestions, if you have anything you may want to see in the future that we're willing to do, throw them out there. You never know, if you can give us an idea, we're going to check it out, and we're going to see if it's something that's possible for us to do, and that you guys may want to see.
Yeah.
But we're coming near the end of our podcast. We're kind of getting close to an hour here, so we're gonna essentially wrap up episode 1 of our Overworked podcast. Hopefully, episode 2 is not so janky. You should be able to expect episode 2 on
next Monday.
Next
Monday.
Yeah, which is May 3rd.
Oh yeah.
So if you're listening to this right now, it's either the week after May 26th or sorry, April 26th, and expect May 3rd for it to be out, because like I said, we're going to hold ourselves accountable for keeping to a consistent schedule for this, and feel free to follow our social medias to be able to see what else is going on with our...
Also, shout out to Chris. Hi, Chris.
Oh yeah. Hi, Chris. I know we have a buddy at work who's like really excited. Like he was like amped for, like probably more excited than us today, for us to be able to record the podcast. He's really excited to listen to it. So hi, Chris. If you're listening to this right now and you're at work, wave at us. But yeah. Thanks for stopping by for episode 1 of Overworked. We'll see you next Monday.